Adonai Ma'atam. Eternal God, what is a human being, an Adam? What is a human being that you, O God, would be mindful of us? What is a human being that you would have regard for us? All of us are a breath, just a passing shadow. We come and go like grass, which in the morning shoots up and is renewed, and in the evening it fades and withers. Such is our lives. But God, you cause all of us to return unto dust, saying, Shuvu b'nei Adam, return, O mortal ones. Would that we were wise, that we understood whither we go from here. For when we die, we carry nothing with us, not our glory, not our riches. But God, you say, Shmor Tamur Yashar, mark the wholehearted, behold the upright. Those are the ones who shall find shalom, who shall find peace. But we gather today to honor someone who really was upright and wholehearted. She was kind and caring and loving in a truly extraordinary way. Geraldine Fox. You'll find the 23rd Psalm inside our handouts. And we can read together. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. This poem from Proverbs, this chapter from Proverbs, these verses, Eshet Chayil, the Eshet Chayil, the woman of valor. It starts on a very cynical note. Eshet Chayil mi yimsa, a woman of valor, who can possibly find such a person? And you did. You found one. It's sort of like searching for a heart of gold and getting old while you're searching. It's the same sort of idea, but in this case, you really had a woman of valor. Eshet Chayil mi yimsa, v'rachok mipinim yichra, v'tach ba lev bala, v'shalal lo yechsar. Gamal tuhu tov v'lo ra, kol yemei chayecha, oz v'hadar levusha, v'tizchach liyom acharon. A woman of valor who can find? She's more precious than fine pearls. Her husband trusts in her. He lacks nothing. She does him good, never harm, all the days of her life. She perceives that her labor is rewarding. Her candle burns on into the night. She reaches out to those in need. She extends her hand to the needy. She is clothed in strength and dignity. She faces the future cheerfully. She speaks with wisdom, the law of kindness upon her lips. Her children rise up and bless her. Her husband sings her praises. Rabot banot asu chayil, va'at alit al kulana. Many daughters of Israel have done valiantly, but you exceed them all. Very appropriate words for Geraldine Fox. We are, friends, in a very interesting time of the Jewish year right now. People don't often realize, but this time between Passover and Shavuot, which is 7 weeks, is an important time, and we actually count the days. We count every single day at our evening services from Passover, 49 days, and then the 50th day is Shavuos. It's creating a link between redemption, that's liberation of Passover, and revelation, in other words, the revealing of Torah at Shavuos. And our sages turn this period of time into an opportunity for us to work on our different attributes, so that we might be ready to receive Torah on Shavuos, so that we merit receiving Torah. We don't want to be sort of scoundrels and get to Shavuos and say, well, I deserve it anyway. We want to be refining our characters on the steps, sort of the ladder from Passover to Shavuos. We might imagine that only the overly pious, well, I should say overly pious, the outwardly pious among us possess those refined characters, really work on their characters, might be naturally refined in character, naturally holy, but that's not my opinion at all, actually. Very often those who have the finest characters and those who are our best role models are those who live simply, humbly, unpretentiously, unostentatiously. It is those who simply honor their parents, those who care for their children, those who are devoted to their life partners, those who love, those who receive love. It is those like Geraldine Fox, whose loss we now mourn. Geraldine was the first child of Morris and Sophie Zeman, older sister to Irv and Marilyn, may they rest in peace. The family lived on the west side. Geraldine, or Jerry, was a devoted daughter and sister then, and she remained devoted to them until they each passed away, most recently Irv. When she was 13 years old, she suffered an infection, intestinal infection, which caused some discomfort for her throughout her life. But the fact that she was a worrier for those she loved, that she was so deeply concerned about the welfare of those she loved, and she internalized that worry, that concern, obviously did not help her digestive woes, but it did reflect her love. Jerry met her beloved Leo. They married, they created this big family, Iris, Marlene, Shelley, and Carrie. She and Leo were deeply devoted to each other. He worked hard in the fresh fish business, and she, at Rockwell and Albion, she was the master of the house. She was in charge, she was the boss, but she was not bossy. If anything, her bark was worse than her bite. There were 14 years between Iris and Carrie. That's a lot of parenting years for Geraldine. When Carrie was about 9 years old and going to school, of course, Jerry did, of course, enter the workplace, working for a clothing manufacturer as like a foreman. But the family was always the center of her existence. Her husband, children, the extended family too. They were together for holidays, and on many Friday nights as well, they'd gather. And Iris, Marlene, Shelley, and Carrie spent a lot of time with aunts and uncles, cousins in those days. Jerry was beloved by all of them, and she still is, by each generation of cousins, nieces, and nephews, and so forth. Beyond the family, she had her friends. Back in the day, once a month on Saturday nights, they would get together with an active, fun couples club. And it was especially exciting when the couples would gather at the Fox household. There was lots of laughter that the kids would hear. Really, I can imagine how fun that was for you. She was beloved by all because she was full of love for all. She was just through and through a loving, caring, giving person. Always sort of making excuses, Iris, like you said, making excuses for people's behavior. What's the word that you told me in? Right, thank you. She expressed her care and concern always with a big, full heart. It was never a burden to care for others, to do for others. She loved to cook for her family. That's one way she expressed this love. And she cooked and baked well, lots of things, including those old family recipes, delicious. As time went on, the family expanded, and Jerry was devoted to Bruce, Chris, and Cindy, and then the grandchildren, and wow, for her, they were the source of her greatest joy. Barry, Jason, Stephanie, and Justin were devoted to their grandmother, I'm sure charmed by her as well. And when Leo passed away in 1999, I'm sure having this next generation of the family was comforting to her, a great sadness. But there was more for Jerry to look forward to, namely an expanded family and a new generation. Geraldine embraced Stacy, Jeffrey, and Dawn, and then the great-grandchildren, Zoe, Jacob, Leah, Liam, Meadow, Dylan, and Devin. Even in recent years, when she was around her great-grandchildren, she quelled her pride, her joy, her love for them. It would shine upon her face. I know I just learned before we gathered, that she would send $2 bills for all the birthdays and everything. And what her grandchild, it was Liam, when he learned that his great-grandma had died, ran to get a $2 bill, an envelope with a $2 bill that she had sent him. That's something for him to cherish, for them all to cherish. She was sweet to the very end, through and through, and in that way she was just an inspiration. It is no wonder that she was loved by so many, loved by family, adored by friends, so well cared for by her caretaker Helen, by the way, as well. In recent years, as was her wont, she would just seek to know one thing when she was together with the family. She'd say, "Is everyone all right?" And yes, you would tell her everyone is fine, thank God. And then you would all say your I love yous. A brief exchange, but essential. What more does one really need? What more can be expected by an Eshet Chayil, by a woman of valor? To say, just be safe, and I love you. A few years ago, Jerry's doctors told her that she would live to be 100. She was determined to prove them right. And she did, reaching that centennial milestone just December 7th, right, just last December 7th. Sometimes when we think about people getting old, we're concerned about the quantity of their lives versus the quality of their lives. Thank God, this Eshet Chayil had both. She lived a century, 100 good years. We thank the Lord for this sweet, loving, caring woman, and may we all follow her loving example. Zichrona livracha, may her memory be for blessing. Amen. Speakers, who would want to share something? Please. Thank you.
Set the standard for having elegance and composure while exuding warmth and kindness. She valued her family above all else, and all she ever wanted to know was that everyone was okay. Her home was our home, and one of our constants throughout the years. As a grandparent, she had the luxury of enjoying her grandchildren and great-grandchildren without having to provide any discipline nor reproach. She always made us feel that she was proud of us, Jason for the beautiful family that he made, me for the career path that I had chosen. And nothing gave her greater joy than having little ones dance around her living room again. In this last year, as she declined more, names took a lot longer to come to her, and the dotted lines from who came from who became harder for her to follow. Even still, when we'd come to visit, it only took a few moments of her seeing our faces before we'd see the smile showing that she recognized that we were hers and she was so happy that we were there. It brought us a great deal of comfort to know that even when everything else had been stripped away, the love between us still remained. There are a million of heartwarming memories of her. Including her wonderful baking, her devotion to the young and the restless, her endless supply of covers for her hair, and her personally keeping the $2 bill in circulation, and her need to always be the hostess. One story that came up when Jason and I were talking yesterday was how she never let our mom pay for anything when we were kids. The most common argument the two of them would have was who was going to pay if Bubba and Papa stayed at our house for dinner. Sometimes if Mom refused to let them pay, Bubba would slip the money to one of us when Mom wasn't looking and instructed us to give her the money after they had gone. The two of us thought it was hilarious, but Mom did not exactly see it this way. One day, Mom had had enough and watched over us like a hawk to make sure there was absolutely no way that Bubba could give us the money. Bubba and Papa left the house with no money exchanging hands, and Bubba with a very offended expression on her face. We don't remember how much time passed after they had gone, but we do remember the exasperation that Mom felt when she discovered the money had been slipped under the lid of our washing machine on their way out. She was just one of those people that could make you laugh without ever meaning to be funny, and this is just one of the many examples of this. We hope that the day comes soon that we can all sit together in the same room and share in all of our memories when times are better and safer.
Would others like an opportunity to say anything at this point? We continue with the memorial prayer, El Malei Rachamim, which means God full of compassion. El Malei Rachamim, Shochein Bamromim, Hamitzei Menucha Nechona Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kedoshim Utohorim, Kezohar Rakia Masirim, Et Nishmat, Agodi Shalanu Shalcha L'Olama, Baal HaRachamim Yasirecha B'Seter Kenafav L'Olamim, V'yitzror B'Tzor HaChaim Et Nishmatam, Adonai Gunachalatam, V'tanuach B'Shalom, Al Mishkava, V'nomar, Amen. Compassionate God, eternal Spirit of the universe, grant perfect rest in your sheltering presence with the holy and the pure who glow like the light of your firmaments, to Geraldine Fox, who has entered eternity. O God of mercy, let her find refuge in your eternal presence and within the shadow of your wings. Let her soul be bound up in the bond of everlasting life. God is her inheritance. May she rest in peace, and we say, Amen. I have here earth from the land of Israel, from Paras 18, from the Mount of Olives in Jerusalem. We put earth in the grave of a Jew. It expresses the enduring Jewish hope of a better future for all of humanity. May Geraldine Fox come to her eternal home in peace. Amen. Adonai Natan v'Adonai Lakach, Yihishim Adonai Mevorach. The Lord has given, the Lord has taken. Blessed be the name of the eternal God. We will now, for a moment, recite Mourner's Kaddish. After Mourner's Kaddish, I'll ask those who are here to support the actual halachic mourners, the children, to say to them traditional words of comfort that you'll repeat after me, and then you'll have an opportunity to put 3 measurefuls of earth into the grave. That is our tradition, 3 measures of earth into the grave of a loved one. Some use the back of the shovel to push some of the, for one of the measures of earth that we put into the grave, but you don't have to do that, and you should put the shovel into the plot of earth for the next person to take it by her or himself to show a desire to perform that mitzvah. Oh God, help us to understand that grief and love go hand in hand, that the pain which loss inflicts is the measure of a love that is stronger than death. Though we cry in our hearts, may we be like children who know that you, O God, the ultimate parent, is near, and who cling unafraid to your trusted hand. In this spirit, O God, do we commit all that is precious to us into your keeping, as we now repeat the words hallowed by generations, Mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabab. Ve'alma divrah chirutei v'amlich malchutei. Ve'chayechon u'vyomechon u'chayei dechol beit Yisrael. Va'agala u'bizman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei Rabba mevorach la'alam u'lamei amayah. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yitdaleh v'yithalal shmei dekudashah b'richu. Ve'ela min kol birchata v'shirata. Tushbechata v'nechamata. Da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rab min shemayim. Ve'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. O seh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Now I ask all who are here to speak these words to the children present. May God console you with all who mourn in Zion and Jerusalem. Hamakom yinechem etchem b'tosha avei Tzion v'Yerushalayim. Now go forth in peace unto life. Amen. Those who like to participate in the putting earth into the grave can now come forward. To do that, you should be wearing gloves as you pass the shovel from person to person.
If you don't have gloves, I have gloves. Ladies and gentlemen, our services here are now concluded. The cemetery crew are going to finish the burial. If you would like to stay for that, you may, but at this time you may return to your cars. Thank you.
Shabbat shalom.